Yo, this your boy Tony coming through another episode of Backyard Comments. Always, I got my boy, excuse me, baby, please say the baby.
Yeah, you already know it.
Is that really duty I got right here beside me?
I'm always be beside you, bro.
As always, I'm your boy Focus 26. And on today, go ahead, Steve, I'm gonna let you handle this.
Yeah, man, we got a special guest on today.
Special.
My pops, man. I talk about him and reference him a lot, man.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into a great show, man. This is the founder and the pastor of High Level Ministries.
Amen.
Clinton, North Carolina.
Lord.
Also the founder of High Level Ministries in Kenansville. North Carolina. This is
great man.
The greatest man I know.
Come on here now.
Hey, great pastor, man. He a great
Come on here now. Before we get
the
into
apostle, Dr. Onyx Martin Sr.
Oh yeah. Right too.
Yeah.
We went back on that about a week. We're gonna do a recap. Before we get into it, we're going to do a recap of last episode. We had Miss Letitia Melvin.
Yeah.
Came through, talked about all 10 of her jobs. She's a hustler.
About 15
wonderful
jobs.
woman at what she do.
Yeah.
We went to the Backyard Retardo. Which was a pastor that was out here doing some foul play. Should be ashamed of himself.
Robert Carter.
Robert Carter.
Yeah.
That was his name, Robert Carter?
Man, I don't even want to say his name.
Yeah, I
we don't even care.
But
He still did wrong.
the black-owned business was again styled by Letitia Marie, and the drink of the yard we had was what was it? Melanated wine. So we tasted melanated wine right here in Durham.
Yeah.
Miss what's her name? Latasha?
She had
something like that. Yeah,
I know her name is
we're gonna be meeting her real soon. To sit down and talk with her. But on this episode, we got none other than Dr.
Honest Mark.
Come on now. How you feeling today, Mark?
Hey, I'm feeling all right. I'm the original Odo. Don't y'all ever forget that?
The original,
right?
Hey,
Yeah,
that's true. That's true, man.
I'm gonna let Onyx start off with he been waiting for this day today, and I'm gonna let him start off with it. Go ahead, Skeezy.
Yeah, so today, man, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about, are you living for survival or are you living in purpose?
Okay.
Come
I
on
thought
now.
this was a great topic today, man, because knowing my pops the way I know him, I know that's his life, man. He was brought up where he had to survive, when at a young age, his mom passed away at a young age of 13.
Wow.
And he had to survive. He had to learn how to do what he had to do. And for him to be the man that he is today, is just amazing.
He's an amazing man. That's one thing I can say.
That he had, man. So let's jump right in it, guys.
Let's
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hey.
So Dad, what you want to talk about? What you want to get on that, man?
Hey, well, I'm here for you all. And like you said, hey, we went through some adversities, but that's what life incorporates.
Yeah.
And my phrase is, such is life. It's not so much about the adversities that come your way, but it's how you deal with it.
Yes,
it's not the things that hit you, but how you bounce back from it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And we used to always say that what doesn't kill you make you strong.
Oh, yeah, what they say?
That's my generation. That's where we come from with that.
You're right about that.
So it's going to make you or break you one way or another. And the thing is, you keep your head up, you keep looking forward.
Right.
And for me, it became looking to the hills from which cometh my help as a Lord
come on
and
now.
Savior Jesus Christ, right? So that changed everything for me, because I can go with you from the street all the way up to what they call the palace. I preached a sermon years ago about from the pit to the palace. So it was through experience. You understand that you go from being downtrodden, you go from not having anything. And like I told people, when I graduated from high school, the clothes they saw me in taking my senior pictures were borrowed. They weren't even my clothes.
Wow.
They were somebody else's clothes. So.
Wow.
You stay from person to person, all that kind of stuff, but you survive. You deal with it, and then you get to the point where you can handle your own. And you don't point fingers, you don't, walk around with a sense of entitlement, because you got to understand what you was created to do and who you was created to be. So you keep focusing on that.
He talking now.
You keep your eyes.
We ain't even got to say nothing.
Who you was made to be. Ain't but one you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Hey, when you look at the thing and nobody else got your fingerprint, ain't nobody else got your DNA, ain't nobody else got what you got, and so you got something to offer nobody else has, and you got to bring it to the light.
Yeah.
The job of the enemy is to suppress that.
That's what it's
and to keep it away from where it needs to go.
Yeah.
All of us are a piece to the puzzle. Every one of us. No matter how we look, no matter what somebody said, no matter what we've been through, no matter where we are now.
Yeah.
We're still a major piece to the puzzle. As a matter of fact, we're still major players. The enemy wants us to think that we're subpar and that we have nothing to bring to the table.
Come on here.
But I stand against that. I come against that. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got something to work with. We all got something to offer offer. You know what I'm saying? And, hey, you know, everybody said, well, I'm a prodigal. I'm coming back for it. And, yeah, come on, get off that old daggone soapbox, man. Let's be real with this.
Yeah, let's be real.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody can be a prodigal. Everybody can be coming back from something. My thing is, you're going to have enough courage and have enough, tenacity, enough faith, enough wherewithal to say, I'm not staying here. I'm not going, I'm not going to settle for this. I may be here now, but this is not where I'm going to end up, because it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
Right.
And purpose says how you was created. Yeah.
Now, that's one thing I got to ask, because he said you lost your mom at 13. That would have been a changing point for some people to be like, I can do X, Y, Z. I'm going to go out and rob and steal. What kept you on the path to even get to where you are now? Because losing a mom is a lot.
Yeah, and I think what's even more tragic about it, and he was right, there was the loss at 13, but she didn't actually pass until I was 18. So she never saw me graduate from high school, but from 13 all the way to 18, my mom was an invalid.
Oh,
and somebody else had to take care of her. Yeah, right. And then it was my sister and I, and we had to find somebody to take care of us. Mm-hmm. So you're saying what kept me on the path? I guess because it was instilled in me as a young child that you keep fighting, you don't give up. Yeah. For lack of a better term, you play the hand you're dealt, but you keep rolling with it.
We ain't talking about spades. We ain't talking about spades.
Hey, well, if you know how to play spades good enough, you still know how to play your hand. Spade or poker or whatever. You put the poker face on, you may have the worst hand in the deck. But if you know how to play it, you can still come out on top.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So you don't allow it to dictate to you how you view life. Mm-hmm. Everything that happens, if we're talking about purpose, happens for a reason. And it happens, listen to this, it happens with something that can impact your life and make you greater if you look at the positive aspect of it instead of the negative. Now my mom, he said I lost my mom. My mom got beat up by a boyfriend when she was drunk. I found her in the house.
Wow.
Out. Bruised all upside the head. He beat it with a little bat.
As a little youngin', you found it.
I was 13.
Wow.
I was 13, almost 14. Was her, my sister and I living in the house. So I'm the man of the house, so to speak, other than the boyfriend who comes in and try to be the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I done been through that.
So you know that when that happens, you want to seek revenge, man. You want to.
A little bit of something now.
Of course. Now, that in and of itself is a whole nother recording. Hey, I went years. I'm serious. I went years on with this revenge state of mind, and then you get to the point and you find out that is retarding your progress. It's hindering you.
Come on.
It becomes a luggage that you don't need to be carrying. I went to the Marine Corps. I became an expert marksman. And the first thing I was going to do when I got out was take him off. That means from 1,000 yards, I can hit a quarter. All day.
And he can do it. I'm telling you right now.
All day. If I was you better do it.
I'm trying to tell you right now.
Better not.
1,000 yards, a quarter.
Hey, that's a blessing, man.
That's some sight.
And that's the reason I wanted to talk about this there, because a lot of times, a lot of people are just surviving, and they're living to survive instead of living for purpose and living for what God or what they should be doing, what God has for them to do. So true. I thought that getting you up here to talk about this like this is a great opportunity, man.
I left my keyboard.
Give me an E.
You know it's essential. You know it's essential.
You really do.
He always get down.
Again, thank you guys for having me, and I'm so honored to be here.
We are
and of course, my son and my protege we talked about this years ago, and I say, man, hey, I'll do it. It ain't nothing but things. I don't travel and do all this stuff I used to do because that's for somebody else. I've done my time.
Right.
I did that. I still make contributions more on an individual level, more through something like this, because we're in a society now where you got to keep it real. You got to be transparent.
Gotta be real.
And all of this facade that comes from behind, podiums and titles and positions, is not changing lives. All it's doing is, to me, is feeding the negativity of the status quo who believe against what the truth is. And so the thing where we still are talking about this purpose and everything, I guess the real question is, though, it's all going to depend on how you believe. Because if we're going to believe in some Big Bang Theory versus intelligent design,
there you go.
then we'll never have purpose. Because I'm going to think that somewhere out of the cosmos, all of a sudden my stuff is going to come together. But now, if I'm going to be somebody that you know what I'm saying? Hey, if I'm going to believe something like intelligent design, then I know there's a purpose. And I know that every step I take, no matter which direction it's in, it's got to have a purpose. It's got to have a meaning. And at some point, I'll be able to differentiate between what's positive for me and what's negative for me.
Come on here now.
And then when I learn that and I identify that, now I can start it. And I was watching a TV show the other day, and the guy was ordering some meat, and he says, "I want you to shave away the fat." Because I don't need the fat, I need the meat. I'm looking for the meat. And so at some point you got to shave away the fat, the stuff that's not good for you, the stuff you don't want. And then you start capitalizing on that you know that's good for you. And all great people surround themselves with great people. Yeah, you know, and then we used to say back in the day about the birds of a feather, they all flock together. Well, I can't walk in purpose if I got people around me always talking negative, always thinking negative, never going forward to do something positive, never speaking into my life. I'm never speaking into their life. We're never encouraging each other. The book I read, you know, I always tell people, I said, the book I read says a man ought to esteem others more highly than himself. You know, and that's Paul speaking, and Paul, who was a genius of a theologian, wrote over 2/3 of the New Testament. This guy wrote most of this stuff from prison. Most people don't understand that. And Paul says we ought to esteem others more high than ourselves. Come on. And this guy was a genius with the word, a genius with the anointing of God, a genius with the presence of God. And see, that's what we got to do as people who are believers. And in the first century, they call them followers of the way. You know, this Christian thing came out a few decades later when they started calling them Christians at a city called Antioch. Well, that was cool because it was a nickname. And they did that to mock them, but it was a label that stayed with them. And so now we you know, we've gravitated to that, and as these meanings, you know, some positive, some negative. But the real tip is that they were called followers of the way. And that way is the way to the truth of life.
Teaching that.
That's what Jesus is. He's the way to the truth of life. You know, it's not just a way to make you some religious person, to make you some, you know what I'm saying, some person who's all hemmed up with these religious ideologies and not really digging into the real fact that has us to be who we are. If God is creator, if God is one that established all that is that we see, or that, you know, being in the world, mankind, and all of that, if we give him credit for that, meaning intelligent design, then listen, he blew something into us when he breathed into the nostrils of Adam that makes us different, that gives us something to work with in every area and on so many different levels and on dimensions.
You're right.
You know, so you got to work with that. You young guys, man. Hey, you know, you don't know how proud it makes me to see you guys out here doing something positive with this cast. We just trying to speak to people in a positive way. I know you know some stuff that you may do up here. Some may take it out of a negative connotation.
This is not I don't drink. This one's for my sister.
I get it. But listen, you know, this is my take on it. You got to walk before you crawl, and you got to get to a point where you really brand yourself and say, what do I want to associate with? What do I want to be affiliated with? The guys and I, we were studying out of a book called A Man in the Mirror.
Michael Jackson.
I don't know the era, the author of it, but what Michael? It's a book too thick for Mike. But anyway, no, in this case, Mike just gonna have to be it. But anyway, I ain't got nothing against Mike. Mike started in the church. I ain't got nothing against Mike. But the thing is, that book was talking about the man in the mirror. It says, what do you want to be said about you once you're gone away from here? What do you want to be said? What do you want your family to say about you? What do you want your close loved ones to say about you? What do you want them to put on your tombstone? What do you want to say? I was a good what? Or I was a no good what? I mean, you know, if you're going to be a no good, then be a no good. You know what I'm saying? Be happy when they put it up there.
all the time.
You know what I'm saying?
Be happy
and you know what kills me about that is like today, people don't care. About that, you know what I'm saying? They don't care what the legacy they live, you know, they leaving behind. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I have a problem
doing whatever.
But I address it, but it's up to you to get it right.
But you know, that's great. But that's great you said that, because that brings it back around to people don't know their purpose. That's why they don't care. You know, you wouldn't care if you don't know what you're meant to do. Anyway, if you don't know what you're supposed to be leaving,
that's true.
Why would you care what you're leaving?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
So the $1 million question is, how do I find my purpose?
There you go. Come on.
I thought you were gonna go there.
I was.
Yeah.
We trying to make this show a little longer. We trying to make this show a little longer.
He done threw it in there. But that is a good question.
Come on,
Bring it
around.
How do I find my purpose? How do I know what I was created to do? And it can be a smorgasbord of things when you first start out, because we're all multiplicit people. But the thing that I would narrow it down to, and it's just simple, so simple that sometimes we bypass it because of the simplicity of it. What would I do if I didn't earn $1 doing it and enjoy doing it?
Right.
What would I get joy out of doing if I didn't earn a penny doing it?
Now that's something to think about.
It is.
That's something to think about.
Yeah, no money attached, because most people do things to earn a living, and we got to do that. This wise king, his name was Solomon, and he's black. I don't care what nobody say. But anyway, he said, He says, money answers all things. So it does. We need money in this world, to survive or to get beyond mediocrity and not to just thrive. But we needed to progress and to be successful in life. If you success has many definitions, but there is where we determine what we were called to do. So if I would do this without receiving a paycheck, if I would do this and still have joy doing it and love doing it, then that is going to steer me in the direction of my purpose. See, talking about being better is something I can do. I don't care whether somebody pay me or not. I mean, somebody say, well, man, you preach for people money, man. That's why you driving the Benzo, man. All you're doing is taking them folk money. Listen, if I were taking folk money, man, I'd be driving a Bentley, dog. You talking about a Benzo? Really? Come on.
If you were doing it like
that,
that's real.
The little Benzo I drive is just to, it's just to keep the ignorance on intelligence.
Yeah.
You'll find that one out later, because some people think you ain't doing nothing unless you got something.
That's true.
That's the thing about us as a people. Now I'm talking race stuff. That's the thing about us as a people. We gotta have stuff to show that we're some. We made some degree of success. Whereas with other people, they don't look at the material things. They look at them in terms of their portfolio. Portfolio. What is a portfolio? I don't even have a portfolio. That's why you're not successful. You don't have a portfolio, and if you don't have one, the least you can do is know what one is. You know what I'm saying?
That all the time.
Right.
She always preached that into us and say that every meeting we have, always build your portfolio.
Build
it. You got to do it.
It defines who you are. Your portfolio really becomes your legacy. And it doesn't define who you are. Listen to this. It tells how you define who you are.
Come on.
So it doesn't define you. It becomes the definition of who you are, because that's what you left. So if you don't leave anything, you never define yourself. It's not that you never had anything to offer. I heard this parable. Despite we're speaking it, and this is not out of the book, but they were talking about.
Let me stand like you about to preach.
I ain't going there. I'm not gonna get my. We're not going to keep on. Won't he do it? No.
Don't get us started now. Don't get us started.
But they asked the question. They said, when you stand in front of Jesus, he's going to show you all that you did.
Oh, Lord.
And then he's going to show you all that you could have done if you would have just had faith enough to trust him.
Wow.
That's a long list I got to stand in.
And when you got the rooms of what you did versus what you could have done, you don't want the room that says what you could have done to be greater than what you did. You want to use all the resources that are available for you. Everything that he said he would do through you, you want it to happen through you. That's purpose. That's purpose. That's living life to the fullest. He says this, your gift will make room for you. The reason why I'm able to do what I do is because I follow the gift. I never followed a dollar.
That's true.
I follow the gift.
That's true.
He knows what sacrifices were made. He knows what sacrifices were made. He knows what we've done down through the years. And so now I'm at the point where I make my own schedule. Haters don't like it, but they can't do nothing about it because they didn't make me.
He earned that. He earned that. I remember nights we traveling late night, going to church, this place, that place, and we got school the next morning, and we moved.
Gotta keep
doing it, man.
We move it, man.
Well, with that being said, I want you to explain to some people, because I know I've been in church my whole life since I was small.
Right.
And the thing that people always come to me about is tithes and offering. I want you to explain that to the viewers.
Yeah,
about tithes and offering.
Tithes and offering. Yeah, this
Malachi.
Come on, he did it. He said it. If a man robbed
3, 8, come on, 12.
You know about
Malachi 3, 8, 12. Well,
he was in that church there.
Yeah, that's how
but you robbed me.
Yeah.
In tithes and offering. You hear me?
Yeah, but the thing about this, you got to understand, tithes and offerings is a principle. It's not a tax.
Right.
It is a principle. And most people say, I'm going to pay my tithes. That's the wrong mindset. You can't pay God for anything. You know, they say, I'm going to pay my offerings or my dues to the church.
Right.
All right? Well, what God did when he created Israel, when he gave Israel the blessings to be the example for everybody else, which they dropped out on. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, but anyway, when he gave them the principle was never dissolved. And what he says in this principle is this. He says, if I've blessed you to do this, that, or the other, and what I've blessed you with, all I'm asking you to do is to give back 10% that others may be blessed by what you were blessed by. So because when he first got them together as a nation, when they came out of Egypt, they had no home base. So they had to find a land in the promised land. So when they got to the promised land, they had no economic system.
Come on.
So since they were centered around the church, which is a place they called the tabernacle, which God gave a vision of to Moses when he went up yonder. But anyway, he told Moses, he says this, and this is how powerful, because we're talking about purpose. God will show you what you need to do in order to get what you need. He told Moses, he said, Moses, I want you to build what you see. He didn't say build what I tell you. He says, I want you to build what I show you. And see, God will show you how to move, how to maneuver to get where he needs you to be. Okay? So we deal with this thing, and you say, where do tithes come in that? Because when he showed Moses the tabernacle, and then this cost and chest and stuff, 10 commandments and all that, it doesn't do it justice, but it does do something to open eyes, all right? So what he says is that we're going to need 10% for what we call the tribe of Levi. Because the Levites did not have any other employment. They were not farmers. They were not herdsmen, or they did not take care of the cattle. What they had to do was to take care of the part that had to do with worship. To keep the nation before God, to keep the nation in right standings in their appeasing God with the offerings and the sacrificial offerings they were making. And they did it 3 times a day, once a year for the whole nation. But anyway, he says this is the way we will keep them viable. Make sure that they're able to spend their time with me, studying the word, so they can bring to you what I give to them, and they're not distracted. So he says 10% of your earnings, or 10% of how I blessed you, I want you to bring it back and give it to me.
And that's the problem.
As a gift.
That's the problem that people come to me. They say, well, money wasn't back then. They say it was fruit and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
But the fruit came from those who were the husbandmen. Fruit was their business.
See?
Yeah, and you say, well, it's cows. Well, cows came from the cattlemen. Cattle was their business.
Thank you.
Well, somebody said it was grain. Yeah, grain come from the farmers because it was their business.
All right.
Okay, so most of us are not farmers now. Exactly. And God has blessed us to be employed in a job.
Thank you.
Okay? And so we give, I'm saying what giving is an act of gratitude.
Right.
And when a person knows their purpose, then they're thankful. So I don't have to beg you to give when you understand who you are. Because they listen, if it's a principle, and the principle is this, and he said this in Genesis before he ever organized them, he says, as long as the earth shall remain, he said this after Noah, the flood thing and all that. He says, as long as the earth shall remain, there shall be seed time and harvest. So you can never get a harvest if you don't put seeds in the ground. That's true. So the tithe, hold it. Can I go for a little while?
Go further now.
The tithe is not the seed.
Yeah, I got you.
The tithe is the cultivator. What it does is prepare the ground.
Yeah.
So that when the seed hit it, it will germinate and bring forth much fruit. Miracle growth
Yeah.
To a seed will make it bring forth not only more fruit, but the fruit will be, listen to this, the fruit will be pure, it will be right, it will be the best fruit. And that's what tithing does. It puts the miracle growth in the ground. Right. So when you give your offering to God, which is your seed, now you're going to get the best harvest. And it says you'll be blessed in season and out of season. You'll be blessed when you go and when you come. You listen, you'll have favor where you don't. I've been several places. There's nowhere that my wife and I have been that we have not received favor. Yeah. I mean, even we just went to the Bare Knuckles, fighting championship. 52, way over there in South Carolina, just Friday, right? Yeah. She blessed me with that for my birthday. That was a beautiful woman sitting over there.
My mama back there, y'all. Yeah.
She is my sugar and my coffee, the cream in my cup, the syrup on my pancakes, and the hot grits on my plate.
Watch out now.
Oh, she is the bun, crazy. All right.
No, we talking about the.
That's my road dog right there.
But I got a question for you, a serious question. Like how did you get into pastoring?
Yeah, that's a real one. How did I get into it? People say, well, how do you know you've been called to do this? And it's the same way with purpose. You identify it through how you gravitate to it and how it's so much a part of your being. As a matter of fact, just last week, I had a gentleman to call me, a friend of mine, and he says, Onyx, he says, man, how do you know you've been called to preach? He says, man, I got people telling me, and he's a deacon and all that. I never was a deacon. I went straight from the streets to preaching. I preached my initial sermon. I never knew anything about the Bible. Didn't know, Genesis to Revelation, none of that stuff that I know now. But anyway, she said, how do you know that? How do you know that? The thing is, if you can do anything else and live, it's not your calling.
Wow.
That says a lot right there.
Yes, it does.
If you can do anything else and live, and I'm not talking about living like life or death, because that's natural stuff. No, I'm talking about live spiritually, have a good quality of life. If you can do anything else and have peace, that's living, then it's not your calling. But this thing is reckoning, man, I got to do something else. What, Lord, I know you called me to speak to your people. Lord, I know I got a word for the masses or for the individual, because Jesus never preached in a church. He didn't go to church at all. Jesus never went to church.
I didn't read that.
He never went to church.
I didn't read that.
Walked around.
He walked around. He walked around in the marketplace. And somebody said, "What do you mean Jesus never went to church? Man, you blaspheming. You're a hypocrite." Well, come on. That tells me you don't know chronology.
Yeah.
Because Jesus never went to church.
Chronology.
We're gonna learn that one.
Because Jesus, listen, never went to church, because the church wasn't even created until after he was born in the book of Acts.
Okay.
That's when the church was first birthed.
Learning something today.
And so Jesus was dead, had risen, and gone back to heaven before the church was ever birthed.
Come on now.
They didn't know that. So he couldn't have went to the church. Now he went to the synagogue, but he never went to church.
Right.
The synagogue is Jewish. It's not Christian.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the synagogue, for the most part, is anti-Christian.
Whoa. Hey,
there's another research right there.
Yep.
Yeah, you got me on that one. You've been teaching me the whole podcast.
Now, one thing that you brought up, you're talking about older texts and stuff. I know sometimes I hear like pastors speak about the Old Testament. What is it called? What's it called? Semonite or something from Egypt. Whatever the.
Well, I ain't never been to Egypt.
I heard about it. I know people who have. They always say it's on the bucket list. They always say the old texts and stuff.
You talking about the lost books of Canaan and stuff like that? Yeah. I've read that stuff.
Where does that fit in with the Bible? Like,
how does it fit in? Well, most of the Bible that we got came from a portion of what we call the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, and these were where the scribes wrote and was writing down as they got it, because the books were passed on from one generation to the next. And so they found these in the mountains, hidden over by the Dead Sea, in the mountainous area. I've been there, and so they was written from that. And there were some parts that when they got the Canaan scriptures, or they got the scriptures from the Nicene court, which was a group of people who got together to write the Bible, and their job was to write it for Constantine, and then some of them wrote it for a king called James, is really what they were doing. And when they wrote it, they left some of them out, left some of the books out because they say it didn't fit with the way the script flowed. Not that it wasn't true, but it didn't keep the heart of the message that they were projecting without someone being able to really have this volume of interpretative material. Because when they're translating it, and when you translate any language from one language to another, there's some things that are lost in translation.
You're right.
And so to keep people from being confused about it, they say, hey, the message is presented here, the message is on point here, this message is conveyed here to where those who are the least of the little ones can understand it. There's no need to add these complexities to it where it's going to cause more confusion than it does good. That makes sense. And so that's where that comes in. And some of those books came from fable writers, and you would have to be able to dissect the text to understand what is and what isn't.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah,
I have been
do your own research, people. That's why you have to do your own research.
I've been learning something today.
Did he tell you that I taught seminar? No.
He's been a principal.
I got a lot to add.
All of that.
Yeah, you know we got a 30-minute limitation for the.
We don't. No, we don't.
But yeah, I mean, you got anything you want to add to that?
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Yeah, so man, I mean, we good on time, guys. But I still want to say, I want to bring this in. That I remember times when we had to go through a lot of different stuff when we was leaving different churches and stuff like that, and the church politics and stuff like that. Explain how to not let that get in the way of you and your purpose.
Yeah,
come on now.
Yeah, excellent question.
I don't play drums in some churches now.
This is like this is why I like sitting here with you all. I think first thing we got to understand what the vehicle of the church is. It's not something we pledge our loyalty to in order to get saved.
Okay.
The church is a byproduct of salvation. It should be a gathering of people who believe and want to influence like-minded people so that you can strengthen each other. Iron sharpening iron concept.
That boy said it all the time.
Yeah, so that's what the church is. So how do you navigate the politics of church and still remain true to who you are and don't become disgruntled? Don't hold a grudge. Don't put everybody into that same classification because of your heart being broken here, or the abuse there, or the misuse wherever. What you got to do is stay focused on what you've been called to do. Because I don't care what area you choose to pledge your loyalty to, there's going to be negativity. No matter what it is, that there's going to be politics. And what you got to do is be so true to you that you don't allow yourself to get caught up in it. And listen, don't waste time trying to kick against something that you can't change.
That's true.
You can't make people be any different than who they are. And they don't desire, just like we're talking now, we're talking about walking in purpose. Well, if a person don't have enough desire to walk in the purpose for which they were created for, he says, do your homework. You got to study. You got to do this. You got to learn. You got to know the job you're on. You couldn't do that job without first being introduced to how it functions. And then once you learn the principles of it, or the foundations of it, then you have to learn the add-ons. And then to become prolific at it, then you have to learn more than the add-ons. You have to learn how to teach others where they are to do what they do from their own perspective. Not from what you were taught, but from where they are able and capable of receiving it.
Right.
So with the church politics, then you understand that anytime you have this group called humanity involved, there's going to be politics. We all gravitate to people who are like we are. That's why this race issue is so blown out of proportion. It's not so much as hatred as it is ignorance.
There you go.
The misunderstanding. They don't know. The cultures are different. No matter where you go, it's different.
Totally different.
Christianity is not the same in Korea as it is here in America. America.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the
That's
same.
what I'm saying.
And what little bit is in China is not the same in China as it is here. And by golly, it's not the same over in Iraq and Iran.
Yeah.
These people are still worshiping underground.
Yeah.
So it's not the same, and it's all cultural oriented. But it doesn't change the message. It doesn't change the truth of identity. It doesn't change the truth of purpose, of who you were created to be, who I was created to be, and what we have to add to the puzzle. So I bring my piece in, and I keep it real. I keep it positive, and I be me, and I don't allow whoever to change, who I am. And I don't try to change who they are.
Right.
But my job is to try to see where we mesh so we can become better together.
See, I see that's where Onyx get that from, because he's the calm one and I'm more of the firecracker. So he be trying to tell me like, bro, just let it be or whatever the case may be. I be wanting to,
You deal with it, right?
Stuff I can't say right now, but Onyx, he'll come in and give that wisdom and that knowledge, and I see where he gets it from.
That's where I
see where he get it from.
So now that's a prime example then about purpose then, because purpose, to some degree, is a part of our created existence, but it's molded and shaped by our lineage and heritage. And then we was talking about legacy. So my purpose somehow is molded and shaped by who I am and what I became a part of. See, I had something that really changed my life young, and I was blessed to be able to gravitate to stuff quickly. I didn't have to be told anything twice. You tell me once, and I'm dealing with it. I'm assessing it. So my dad told me, at a very young age, I said, why'd you name me Onyx, a black stone? Why'd you name that? He said, son, because I knew you was going to be precious. My dad was a wino. He was an alcoholic. So, we never really stayed with him and all that kind of stuff. I loved him. He was my dad. I didn't care. You say what you want to say. Call him who you want to call him. Still my dad. You know what I'm saying? The dude was a genius, man. The dude was a genius,
He could do anything.
But what I'm saying is, just like we're talking about the thing that happened with my mom, I could have used that to breed negativity. But negativity breeds negativity. So if my purpose is to create a positive environment, I don't have to go negative to create positive. You see what I'm saying? So I got to use that. So with the church thing, if I'm going to get into the politics, you thought I forgot that. If I'm going to get into the politics,
I know you did.
I'm going to get into to navigating churchism and Christendom, and a lot of it has been spoon-fed by man's wrong ideology. That if I'm going to get into that, then I have to understand why I'm there. I'm there to create a better environment. So sometimes I may have to wait it out. Before I can make this positive influence. I may have to listen. I may have to. The Bible says this about our God. It says he suffers long with us. He says he's long suffering. What does that mean? He knows that we're going to do some stupid stuff.
And I done it.
You know what I'm saying? Me too. And I'm way older than you, so I know I've done way more. But the thing is, he says he suffers long with us. But at the same time, while he's suffering long with us, he never stopped expecting the best for us and the best out of us.
My God, come on here.
He never stopped expecting that. So his suffering long is not suffering and ridiculing or criticizing. His suffering long is, listen to this, it's nurturing.
I love when you say that. Listen to this.
It's maturing. And so it's putting us in a position where we can receive from him the identity that he created us to wear. Which is purpose.
That's real.
So don't let church change who you are because of the ignorance that's there. That's going to happen. We're living in an information age. Some people won't do what it takes to know. That's okay. Let them be there and let them stop there. But don't let them stop you there.
Come on.
Because where a person is and what they believe, it doesn't show who they are. It doesn't show what they've done. It shows where they quit.
See?
But if you know forever, you learn forever. You're always open to learn. Like I'm learning here, just from you guys, just sitting here, and we're feeding each other. But that's what life is about.
I'm getting fooled.
That's what it's about.
That's what life is about.
I don't look like what I've been through. Come on here.
Say it again.
I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through. But that's real, man. Like, this has taught me a lot just sitting here.
Yeah.
As always, been around you since I was a child. You know, it's been a few years since I've seen you, but you know, you always seem to amaze me with teaching and keeping it real and always spreading the word of God. Always. And I'm pretty sure our viewers out here, once they watch this, they're going to be touched too. They might have a different outlook of why they don't go to church themselves. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for that. I really do. I really do.
See, one thing is that church has to be a bifold purpose. I must understand that I need the church, but I must also understand the church needs me.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Okay.
Now.
And so when I
explain that to the people.
Yeah. So when I get there, I got to understand that because the church is because we never said the church was 4 walls. The church is supposed to be a living, moving being. Just like we are, because it's made up of
created
people.
to worship.
Yeah. So it's composed of people. So therefore, the church needs me to be viable, to be relevant. But I also need the church to be balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And listen to this, and to be pruned.
Ooh. I have been in some churches.
Yeah, to be pruned.
They won't.
But each one of them, though, offered you something.
Yeah, they did.
That you couldn't get through any other means.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
know, so
I didn't look at it like that then, but that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, and you won't.
Yeah.
Not while you're going through.
I was going through it. I was going through
chastisement
it.
for the moment seemeth joyous.
Come on here
but
now.
he says the end results bring about much
Come on now.
peaceable fruit.
Real talk.
I want to play my keyboard so bad.
I want to hit the cymbals and everything right now. I see Onyx pull that thing up. Well, man, we want to go to a new segment. Yeah.
I want to say this is just part 1.
Yeah.
He's coming back, y'all.
He's coming back.
There's so much information.
I got
Trust
so
me.
many more
Trust
questions,
me.
too.
It's so much.
Well, we want to move on to the next segment, and it is the Backyard Best Scripture. I made that up just for you, Pop. What is your ultimate best scripture that you would, say any given time? That's your best. It's your go-to scripture. What's your best scripture?
It's simple, very simple. And mine is, man, I ought to always pray without ceasing.
Come on now.
It's very simple, and that's what 1 Thessalonians 5:17, pray without ceasing.
That's the only one Tony knowing.
Nah, I know John 3:16.
Okay.
My tail whoop for not knowing my Bible verses.
Well, God so loved.
So love the world. My grandma used to get on me. That something little Jesus love the little children. I had to go on there, boy.
We had to go on there.
My Bible verse. But you said, all right, so you any Bible verses you got to do that you love? I just said mine, John 3:16.
Jesus will.
Get up there, because I didn't like to be on the mic. So Jesus will. But I love John 3:16.
Don't take mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to say that before anybody get the mic.
That's the only one you got.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Reverend Onyx did teach me that Malachi.
Yeah,
I do love that. Because Rob God, that.
Always stay in your
since
head.
I've been to his church.
Yeah.
That stayed in my mind.
Wow. It will be instilled in you.
Because, you giving within faith. You know what I'm saying? So that says a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I walk. I walk in faith. You know what I'm saying?
And
so
it's a principle, though.
Yeah, that too.
Given and shall be given back unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, run it over, shall men give it to your bosom.
That was a song we played at
Yeah. You play that when they doing it. It's part of the doxology.
What about you, Ski? What's your favorite one?
Oh man, I got plenty, man. I got plenty.
Yeah, you preach to me all the time. He always do. I call him a prophet because he be sure throwing it out there.
I ain't gonna lie to you now.
I wish.
Yeah, it's in his blood. It's not prophet's blood. It's in his blood. Yeah. What are you talking about? You did that already.
Yeah,
that's real.
But Psalms 100, man, make a joyful noise.
Unto the Lord.
Yeah. That's on me, man.
Yeah, and I made up another one
he is God.
just for you.
Come on.
It is the Backyard Craziest Prayer. Like, what is the craziest? what is like the craziest thing somebody have called you? Like, Pastor, pray for me. I just stuck my toe at the edge of the bed. Like something like that. Like, what's like the craziest thing?
Prayer?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I take prayer so seriously and literally.
None of them is crazy, really.
There are some. But I'll ask them a question. I asked the question though. I had people were coming up and they want to get prayed for healing and deliverance, and I know they were receiving a check, right? So they're getting this, they're getting this Social Security or whatever they get. I said, I tell you what, you want me to pray for you? They said, yeah. I said, you want to be here? They said, yeah. I said, you still want your check? They said, yeah. I said, well, you can't have both.
Yeah, you can't have both. They be here to get that check now. Well, someone's gonna get cut. Don't do it.
Hey, dude, trying to make a decision, boy. He trying to make a decision. Should I ask Pop to pray after the show or not? I want that check.
I seriously really want my healing. I was just joking.
I do want my healing. I want that check first.
Oh man. Well, y'all know we can't leave without doing the black-owned business.
Oh yeah.
And this week we chose. I just met them the other day. It's Bros Barbecue. They don't have Brothers Barbecue. They don't have no social media or anything. They're just getting started. But they're in Raleigh on Pool Road. You can see them out there, man. They had the macaroni cheese and the mixed vegetables and the fried fish. It was so good. It was so good,
stole my
man.
nickname though.
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good. I want to turn it over to Onyx before we head out, and go ahead, take it away, brother.
Okay, well, everybody know what time it is.
You know what time it is.
You know what I mean. So today we have something special for my pops for coming on the show today.
Look at his face.
We're gonna award him with this nice award here, and it says Backyard Comedy presents Dr. Onyx Martin Sr., our first OG of guidance and wisdom to bless our podcast. It says, continue to be blessed and bless lives.
Oh yeah. Hey.
He gonna do that. I know he gonna do that.
Hey, man. Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all, man.
Before we head out, can you tell everybody how they can get in contact with you, watch your sermons and everything? Can you just tell the people?
Yeah, I mean, High Level Ministries. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. You can go to either one of those, look up High Level Ministries. We got a website, highlevelministries.org. And we're there. We've been there for years. We're not novice to this thing, and we're not people who play games with it. I'm real, and I love to deal with real people. I don't believe in all of the dramatics and all that drama and all that kind of stuff that goes with it.
That's right.
Thank you guys for this, man.
You're
it's
welcome.
an honor to be here.
Yes, sir.
I look forward to coming back.
Oh yeah, you got to come back.
Listen,
you come.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I live for.
Yeah.
And really, this is what I live for. All the other stuff I've done, revivals all over everywhere, preached all over a lot of places, across the nation or whatever.
Revival.
Yeah, man. I mean, come on.
Give us a revival.
I don't play drums. My hand was blistered. Lord have mercy. Revival, prayer meeting,
Thank you,
children's
Lord.
service.
But I like the one when they have them 3 days now. Them 5 days was hard.
Yeah.
Revival follow up with the pastors.
I was definitely a proponent of that 3 days. Matter of fact, here lately I've been saying, well, why you gotta have one every year?
Right.
It goes down now. It goes down.
Or twice a year, That's got to be seasonal. If I get enough revival in one of them, then I ought to be able to last at least another year too. If I get another one, no, that's just me.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you.
Indeed, man.
But, man, on behalf of us, thank you for taking the time out your busy schedule to come sit with us and school us and put a blessing into our lives. I thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're going to head out of here. You can email us at backyardcomedy3@gmail.com.
Yeah.
As always, I got my boy baby. Please say the baby.
You already know.
Is that really Dooley? I got right here beside me.
I'm really over here beside you.
I'm your boy Vocals26. Shout out to 1,000 followers we just hit today on Instagram.
Moving up.
God is amazing.
Moving up.
And, God is working. And he's been in the blessing business for us individually and together. And I thank God for that. Shout out to Pops right here for coming. I thank you so much. As always, we appreciate y'all and we love y'all.
And Pops, tell them what it is.
Tell them.
Hey, it's an honor to be here. Until we meet again, I'll see ya.